What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am MLB Chatterbox. My name is Christian Corey. Welcome back to another video. You see the title and the thumbnail in today's video. Some big news, some bad or good news, depending on the way you look at it, coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, regarding the 2021 MLB All-Star Game. It will be moved out of Atlanta to a different location that is to be determined. All that in today's video. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, guys. So, you see the title and the thumbnail in today's video. Like I said, Major League Baseball has decided to move the All-Star Game out of Atlanta, Georgia, out of the Deep South here in 2021 due to some political laws, bills that have been passed in the state of Georgia regarding voter identity and laws revolving around how a person can and cannot vote. So they're moving it out of Atlanta due to the decision that was made by the Georgia governor, Brian Kemp. So I will be talking about this decision made by MLB and what I view it, just from a pure baseball perspective, and why I feel this decision probably was not the best decision for MLB to do here in 2021. So first, let me read you an article from ESPN that explains the situation in depth. It says, quote, in a statement, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred said the league is, quote, finalizing a new host city, and details about these events will be announced shortly. A source told ESPN that the All-Star Game is still planned for Los Angeles in 2022 and won't be moved to fill the void this summer. Over the last week, we have engaged in thoughtful conversations with clubs, former and current players, the Players Association, and the Players Alliance, among others, to listen to their views. Manfred said as part of his statement, quote, I have decided that the best way to demonstrate our values as a sport is by relocating this year's All-Star Game and the MLB Draft. Goes on to say Major League Baseball fundamentally supports voting rights for all Americans and opposes restrictions to the ballot box. In 2020, MLB became the first professional sports league to join the Nonpartisan Civil Alliance to help build a future in which everyone participates in shaping the United States. We proudly use our platform to encourage baseball fans and communities throughout our country to perform their civil duty and actively participate in the voting process. Fair access to voting continues to have our game's unwavering support. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed into law last week a sweeping Republican-sponsored bill that includes new restrictions on voting by mail and greater legislative control over how elections are run. The following day, MLBPA Executive Director Tony Clark said, quote, he would look forward to discussions around moving the Midsummer Classic, slated for Tuesday, July 13th, out of SunTrust Park, home of the Atlanta Braves. 5 days after that, President Joe Biden, appearing on SportsCenter, said he would strongly support such a decision because of a law he describes as Jim Crow on steroids. So the point is, they're moving the All-Star Game out of Atlanta due to a bill that was passed by a Republican majority and a Republican governor of Georgia to put restrictions on voting. So the point is that they're moving the All-Star Game out of Atlanta. Regardless of why and how, what you think about it, the point is, I am here to talk about that this is bad for the game of baseball to make this move now. The reason why is because, as you well know, the home run king in my mind, Hank Aaron, number 44, passed away this offseason. Correct? Correct. Okay, we all know that. We all know that Hank Aaron is the best hitter, home run hitter in the game of baseball. I do not care about Barry Bonds. Screw Barry Bonds. He is a steroid user. I do not like Barry Bonds, but I do like Hank Aaron. Now, as you well know, Hank Aaron played for the Braves, in which they were first in Milwaukee, and then they moved to Atlanta. 44 is the real number one when it comes to home runs. He beat Babe Ruth's home run record all time in 1974, and he did it in Atlanta. Correct? Correct. Okay. In Atlanta, 1974. And he played in the 60s too there. As you probably well know, racial tensions were not that great in Atlanta in the 60s and the 70s. And actually, when he was on the cusp of breaking Babe Ruth's record, there were reports that he was going to get shot in Atlanta because a black man were on the cusp of beating and breaking an all-time great baseball player's home run record who was white in Babe Ruth. So the point is that he did it in Atlanta in the Deep South where there's racial tensions, segregation, and all. He did it. He beat it. He came out alive and well. He's a champion now. He's a Hall of Famer. He just passed away. And you are now going to have the All-Star Game in Atlanta, his adopted hometown, essentially. And you are going to honor him here in 2021. With all the racial tensions that are going on in America, you decided that you, Major League Baseball, are going to honor Hank Aaron. But now, you want to move the game out of Atlanta because of somewhat of the same type of racial tensions and discrimination that is going on currently in Atlanta as what happened back in the 60s and the 70s and when Hank Aaron broke Babe Ruth's record. So you, baseball, want to move the game out of Atlanta, so you can't honor Hank Aaron down in Atlanta in the Deep South for his accomplishment, for what he did not only on the field but off the field, for a black man to get a standing ovation in the Deep South. Again, I'm paraphrasing from the great Vin Scully when he made the call. And you're going to take that away from him. You're going to take that honor away from him. Now, I bet you, if this was about Jackie Robinson, we'd be all for it. Oh, Jackie Robinson is great. Jackie Robinson is the best. If this was in Los Angeles, we'd be honoring Jackie Robinson. Correct? Correct. Yes. That's probably what was planned last year when they were going to have the All-Star Game in Los Angeles, California, was to honor number 42, Jackie Robinson. But I think this is a terrible, terrible decision by Major League Baseball to move it out of Atlanta because they will not be able to properly honor the great Hank Aaron in Atlanta for something that he did and a milestone that he eclipsed and a barrier that he broke down in Atlanta in the Deep South in a time where racial tensions were extremely high and segregation was still relevant in some areas of the United States and the Deep South. So the point is that this is a terrible, absolutely, unequivocally terrible decision by Major League Baseball to get the All-Star Game out of Atlanta. Number one, it's disrespecting Hank Aaron in every way, shape, and form. Number two, it shows the cowardness of Major League Baseball that, they don't want to address the situation head on and feel comfortable having the All-Star Game in Atlanta, because guess what? If Hank Aaron decided to crawl up and not break the home run record, then barriers would not have been broken. You have to push the barriers. You have to push the limits a little bit here. And I don't think that the All-Star Game has anything to do with what's going on politically. Personally, I don't want politics in baseball. I don't want it at all. I don't want any sport. I don't want it, although it's always there. We know that. But again, I thought this was a way to do somewhat of the same thing that Hank Aaron did, pushing the barriers in Atlanta. Baseball should say, I'm not going to let politicians push us around as a sport and make us change our plans because of a law that we obviously disagree with you with, that you passed. But we're going to, make it known that we don't like it by running away from you. You should address the situation head on, have the All-Star Game in Atlanta, be done with it. Honor the man and be done with it. That's the way it should be. And I think most people in Atlanta would agree with that, idea. And guess what? What happens if the Atlanta Braves make the World Series this year? What are they going to do? They're going to move it out of Atlanta to do what? What are they going to do? They're going to move the game out of Atlanta because they made the World Series. Because again, the All-Star Game is baseball's second biggest event, right? Next to the World Series. Can we all agree with that one? Thank you. So if the Braves go to the World Series this year, which they were one game away from last year, and they have fans there, what, are they going to move the game out of Atlanta? So what, no fans can show up in Atlanta? Why? Because there's still going to be this law passed from the Georgia governor, and they're going to move the World Series out of Atlanta if in fact the Braves make the World Series, because basically that's what you're doing here. So if you move the All-Star game and the Braves make the World Series, you must, as Major League Baseball, move the World Series out of Atlanta if in fact the Braves make it this year. And guess what? I think the Braves should no longer be a team in Atlanta. There should be no team in Atlanta, Georgia. No, we don't want baseball in a city like that, right? It's a terrible city with terrible laws, terrible government officials. We want the Braves out of Atlanta, Georgia. That's what they should call for. If they're really serious about this, moving the All-Star game ain't going to do nothing. Just saying. In retrospect, it ain't going to do nothing. So you either stick to your guns, you move the All-Star game out of Atlanta, you move the World Series out of Atlanta, if in fact the Braves make it, and you eventually move the Braves out of Atlanta altogether. Because you cannot pick and choose as a sport on certain things you want to, take a stance on, and certain actions you want to take by showing your support for an issue. You just got to go all in. You can't pick and choose here. You can't pick and choose, oh, we want the All-Star game out of Atlanta, but we're okay if the Braves make the World Series because, that's cool. We can have the World Series in Atlanta, but not the All-Star game. Why? Why? Why even have a team? Why even have any teams past the Mason-Dixon line? Seriously. It's ridiculous. Stupid, ridiculous, and honestly, a disgrace by Major League Baseball. Rob Manfred should be ashamed. The Players Union and Tony Clark should be fired. He is a terrible representative of the Players Alliance and the Players Association. Frankly, I believe that the players should not even have a union. That is ridiculous that the players have a union in the first place, but that's a topic for a different story. So, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Alrighty, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you later.